Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting for the Foxborough School Committee. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. So I am going to look for a roll call vote I believe I need a motion. And we need a roll call to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing contract negotiations for Foxborough Education Association professionals and educational assistants, Foxborough Educational Secretaries Association, and Foxborough Extended Day staff.
I make a motion to enter into an executive session to talk about the contracts for extended day staff and I'm sorry, what was it? Educational associate professionals.
Okay.
Second.
So Michelle motion, Nate second. Any further discussion, questions, comment? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, we do need a roll call. So Chelsea, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Aye.
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 Okay. All right, roll call, entered into executive session. Good evening. Welcome to the May 6, 2025 School Committee meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to do the School Committee reorganization. As everyone can see, we have two new faces at the desk. Welcome to Chelsea McHugh and Pat McGuire. Thank you very much for stepping up. Volunteerism is always appreciated, and we really appreciate that you guys have stepped up to do this role, so thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the role of chair.
Okay, so this school committee is deep in negotiations and in policy review, and we have two new members. I think it would be best for the school committee for stability and continuity that I nominate Sarah Ladani for chairperson.
Second.
Okay, any further discussions, questions, or comments? All right, all in favor? And we do need to do a roll call vote on this. So Chelsea?
Aye.
Me?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I appreciate the confidence you all have in me. I'll do the best I can. Okay, the next nomination I'm looking for is the vice chair, which is also the secretary role. I'll entertain any motions for a vice chair.
I'd like to make a motion and nominate Nate Ehrman as the vice chair.
A second?
Okay, any further questions, comments, or discussion? All right, we're going to also do a roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, that's 500. Thank you very
you.
much for stepping up for the role of vice chair, Nate. All right, perfect. Sorry. Just want to make sure. Okay, motion to approve the FY 26 through 28 Foxborough Extended Day Staff Agreement.
I make a motion to approve the proposed FY 26, FY 28 Foxborough Extended Day Staff Agreement.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion on this? No? Okay, all in favor? And that would be 500. Thank you very much.
Would you like me to provide a little bit
Yeah.
of a, excuse me. So with our extended day, we have a wonderful group of people that work with our children before and after school. We're so fortunate to be able to have our own programs in Foxborough. And so we've met with their representatives, And so their contract was up. It just is going forward for the next 3 years. And so that contract, there really is not any significant changes, just a couple overall. It's a 2.5% increase over the next 3 years. And then also where we have some differences with students that need enhanced staffing, it has a differentiated rate for enhanced staffing. For students that require that for sometimes it's special education or safety reasons. So there's that enhanced staffing, which really is then outlining what's in the best interest of the student to be able to work with that particular student. And then also if we have, many times we have high school students or college students that come in and work in the before and after care programs, more of the aftercare. And so then a rate as far as to place them where they would be appropriate on that particular salary chart. So just really want to thank our representatives from Extended Day and working with us and moving forward. And again, not many districts own and operate, their own programs like we do, and it is really a service to our families to be able to extend the school day and the work that they do. They put a lot of thought and effort into what they do every day. So again, thank you to them, and we're really fortunate to have them working with our students.
Thank you. That's great. Okay, we're going to move to open public comment, and I see we have a few names up here. I think that we have a few different groups that may be coming to present, but again, as I said before, if you'd like to come up for open public comment, just make sure you speak into the microphone.
Good evening. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself to the new members of the board. I'm Erin McCarthy. I am the Vice President of the FEA, the union.
And I'm Tom Gill, the president of the Foxborough Education Association, also a grade 8 civics teacher at the Ahern Middle School. We'd like to welcome you and happy nasal spray and Claritin season.
Just do me a favor.
Yeah.
Just for the record, your names and addresses, please, just of everyone who's speaking. Thank
It's
you.
Thomas Gill, 210 High Plains Street. That's in Walpole.
And I'm Erin McCarthy, 387 South Street in Foxborough.
Perfect.
We have a few members of our union that would actually like to have a little speech and have a couple of things that they'd like to say. You want to go first?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
Just give us your name and address, please.
my name is Susan Snyder, and I live on 3 Willow Street in Foxborough.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate our new school committee members. I am an educational assistant in the preschool sub-separate classroom, and I have been for 17 years. I live in Foxborough, and I have for over 30 years. My children went to the Foxborough schools. I work with an amazing team, and we truly love what we do. We teach severely autistic children as well as students with complex medical diagnosis, trauma backgrounds, behavioral challenges, and students who can't talk or communicate. Daily individual picture schedules are set up in the classroom for each student, and with support are followed throughout the day. Our students can't communicate without using AAC devices, tablets, or picture boards. We have extensive experience using different devices and the specific programs each device has. We work closely and collaborate with the physical, occupational, and speech therapist. We implement what they do during the day when we are working with our students. When possible, we integrate students into other preschool classrooms with the hope of full integration. The head teacher and assistants work closely together. We rotate students with different assistants and teachers each day. We collaborate on a daily basis with what is working and what needs to be changed. We implement IEP goals through tailored instructional activities to meet the diverse and complex needs of each student. We record and analyze data to monitor students' progress and make adjustments when needed. It's a labor-intensive setting that requires us to change diapers, teach students how to use a toilet if they're able, teach dressing skills and basic self-help skills. We run specialized toilet training programs and use timers and pictures. Some students can go as frequently as every 30 minutes. We lift students who can't walk and transfer to standers and wheelchairs and strollers. This can be up to 50 pounds. In the past, we have administered food through feeding tubes. We will do whatever is required for the student's success. Many of our students have behavioral challenges, and at times, we manage students who are screaming, hitting, kicking, spitting, and sometimes even biting. So what is needed to be able to run a quality special education program? We need qualified, highly trained assistants that are dedicated, compassionate, have worth ethic, and work as a team. And how do you become a highly trained assistant? Extensive training and from your past experience with working with these students every day. What works with one student may not be effective with another. Every year makes you a better and more valuable assistant because you can draw on past situations. To retain and hire assistants, it is imperative that salaries increase significantly to a livable wage. It has become almost impossible to keep or even hire quality assistants that Foxborough students deserve. I fear for what will come down the line for the most vulnerable students in Foxborough if a livable wage is not achieved. A living wage in Norfolk County is $69,396. For educational assistants, we reduced it because we only work 10 months. And EA's living wage is $57,830. A side note, ed assistants, we do not get paid for any holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving Day, just to name two, school vacations, or during summer break. We get paid for the exact hours we work. There's a lot of misconception about what we do. You know, people think that ed assistants, make copies and help a little here and there. We're in the trenches with these kids, and you know something? We love it. Thank you.
My name is Sammy Schmal, and I'm at 124 Oak Street, Foxborough. I'm an ed assistant at the Barrel School in the preschool wing. I went through my elementary school years, my high school years, and my middle school years on an IEP. I benefited from extra time when test taking. I needed questions read out loud to me over and over again to best help me comprehend what was being asked and what was being asked and how I could give my best response. When being inside the classroom, myself, along with my small group of peers, could easily get overwhelmed with the amount of information that would be given to us during a class lesson. At times, we would get taken out of the classroom by our educational assistant, and they would dedicate so much time to break down that lesson for us to best understand it. They would note take because sometimes our minds couldn't process quickly enough to get the important points on paper. They would put together study packets for any upcoming exams. They always supported our needs to make us as successful as possible in or out of the classroom. I'm speaking for all ed assistants from my early years, but specifically the handful of ladies that are sitting in this room right now. I can look at them and know how big of a difference they made in both my life and my peers. They are the heart of the classroom and deserve to be recognized for their hard work. I would not be where I am today if it weren't for their dedicated, loving support, the dedicated, loving support that I received from my Foxborough educational assistants. And I'm currently working my second year as an ed assistant in my childhood elementary school, giving the children the same support and love that I remember receiving when I was their age. Unfortunately, EAs today are getting pulled out of preschool and other classrooms when staff are out. The general consensus is that it is almost impossible to get subs. It is hard to run a classroom because our students need the support of their entire team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Melissa Glass, 80 Broadway in North Attleboro. I have been an educational assistant at the Adjourn for 27 years. I speak on behalf of all educational assistants who make Foxborough the destination school system that it is. Assistants are the backbone of all of our school. As education has evolved over the past several decades, so too has the role of an educational assistant. In the past, assistants help teachers in class preparation tasks. For example, making copies, organizing supplies, and providing assistance implementing lessons. In the present, this role is incredibly different. According to Nick Jurovich in his book, Para Power, How Paraprofessional Labor Changed Education, teachers' aides were envisioned as local mothers who would work for a pittance, doing menial, administrative, care, and disciplinary work, while teachers could teach their large classrooms of kids in the 50s and 60s. It was cheaper than hiring new teachers. However, eventually schools realized that the aides weren't just helpers, they were actually an integral part of the education taking place in the classroom. Ask any of the teachers in Foxborough about what assistants do for them and their students, and they will tell you how beneficial and important we are. I am sure many parents don't even realize the many responsibilities we have. That being said, I'm pleased to have this opportunity to have the immense impact I do on the children in Foxborough. Our positions have significantly evolved over time. However, our salaries have not kept up with our increased level of responsibility. Our responsibilities now include taking on larger roles in the classroom when there is no special ed teacher in the classroom in our current co-taught classroom model, a model that Foxborough prides itself on implementing. Furthermore, the ed assistant role includes working with small groups, previewing and reviewing material, supporting communication between students, teachers, and their special education teachers, gathering and tracking data, coaching children in the development of their executive functioning skills, being proficient with classroom and assistive technology, as well as providing technical support to students as needed during class. We are expected to be proficient with the curriculum in multiple grade levels and subject. I've often compared an assistant to a one-room schoolhouse teacher. We become trusted confidants of students with social, home, and school issues. Assistants are on the front line in advocating for students' needs and supporting the teacher adjusting the curriculum as necessary. Each day, we advocate for the welfare of our students in both academic and behavioral situations. We know and follow the individual education programs for each student to ensure their legal requirements for both modifications and accommodations are being met. This is done while meeting every student's social and emotional needs, including those students who have experienced trauma and more complex and challenging difficulties. Although our responsibilities are numerous, our salaries do not reflect the undeniable importance of our profession. According to a survey, 100% of assistants who responded work 2 or more jobs in addition to working with the children of Foxborough because their pay is so low. On average, assistants earn half of the standard of living in Norfolk County. I know of an assistant who has even considered selling her plasma to help pay her monthly bills, and that's not acceptable. Assistants are educated professionals who deserve a fair living wage. Let 2025 be the contract year in which you show the assistants how much you value them by agreeing to a fair contract and leading by example for nearby communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Is there anyone else for public comment?
I was gonna.
We just have a couple minutes, but that's okay. Come on.
My name's Marcia Hickey, and I live at 400 Foxborough Boulevard. So it's funny, because 2 contracts ago, I was here asking why ed assistants are at the bottom of the list, and we're still at the bottom of the list, and nothing's really changed. So, well, actually, some things have. More children are falling behind and are in greater need of extra support. Finding dedicated educational assistants has become more difficult due to student behaviors and low wages. For just a moment, consider what a typical day would look like without the support of the dedicated EAs who have stayed through the hardest times. Hopefully you see our value. The importance of having a consistent, skilled person in the classroom, someone who doesn't need to ask, what can I do, or where should I go? Someone who knows the curriculum and anticipates needs and supports both students and teachers seamlessly. If you do recognize our value, then please help us move closer to a livable wage, not just for us, but for those who may choose to make being an educational assistant their career, and it is a career. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. I see two more names on here. Yep, come on up. Just give us your names and address, please.
Cameron Pelletier, 6 Green Veterans Road, Foxborough, Mass.
Eamon Kelley, 18 Forest Road.
Good evening. I'm Cameron Pelletier, and I'm here to share a few words on the behalf of the students. Teachers and EAs are a huge part of why school works. They show up every day with patience, consistency, and care. And honestly, that support is what a lot of us rely on to continue pursuing our goals. Whether we're stuck on something, behind on work, or just having a rough day, they are there. They help us figure the things out and push through them when we feel like giving up. What really stands out is that they don't do it for recognition. Our educators explain things until we understand it. They give second chances. They treat us like we matter, even when we're off our game. They don't just teach schoolwork. They guide our thinking and show us all how to persevere when things aren't easy. That kind of support sticks with you. You don't forget it. So even if we don't always say it, we notice. We remember the teachers who stayed after school. We remember who kept showing up day after day, no matter what. We remember the educators who represent Foxborough and how they're the core of our community. So from all of us, thank you for your time, your effort, and always having our backs.
Hi, good evening, board. My name is Eamon Kelley, and I'm a junior here at the Foxborough High School. Over the past 3 years, I've worked hard to push myself academically, enrolling in challenging courses that have helped me grow into the best version of myself. But I haven't been able to make this journey alone. Our dedicated teaching staff here at Foxborough has consistently supported and guided me every step of the way. In Foxborough, our teachers and ed assistants are committed to student success. Whether it's setting aside time outside of school for extra help or offering support in difficult times, the educators here go above and beyond their positions. If you take a walk down the hallways after school, you notice that nearly every other classroom contains a teacher aiding a student or an ed assistant helping small group students. This dedication is a huge reason why Foxborough is ranked among the highest performing schools in Massachusetts. Honestly, I don't think I would be nearly as academically successful as I am today without their help and their encouragement. Their impact also goes beyond academics. These educators build meaningful connections with students, connections that exceed the confines of the 4 years that they spend in high school and last long after graduation. The educators create an environment where every student feels seen, supported, and believed in, even when we don't necessarily believe in ourselves. They leave their doors open to ensure we're cared for academically and emotionally. This commitment is what makes our teaching staff at Foxborough so crucial and so irreplaceable. If we want our schools to continue to thrive and foster an inclusive, high-achieving place for all students, then we must recognize and reward these educators accordingly. Foxborough needs them, and they deserve nothing less than for their efforts to be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. It's not, I don't see any more names on the sign-up sheet. Excuse me?
What do I have to do to get on that list?
Yeah, no, it was out before the meeting, sorry. Yes, yes. Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the approval of minutes. We have a few packs of minutes in here for the regular committee and for the subcommittee. So,
I make a motion to approve the Foxborough School Committee meeting minutes for March 11th, 2025.
Second.
any further questions, comments, or discussions? All right, all in favor of minute approval?
I can't vote, right, because I wasn't here, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are going to abstain. So we have a quorum, so all in favor, 3, and all abstaining. So Chelsea and Pat are both going to abstain. Minutes are accepted. We're going to move on.
I make a motion to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from March 27th, 2025.
Second.
Just to clarify, this is for the, policy subcommittee. Okay, any further questions, comments, discussion? All in favor? All right, all abstaining? Okay, so that would be 3-2. Thank you very much.
I make a motion to approve the policy subcommittee meeting minutes from April 8th, 2025.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? All in favor? Okay, that would be the 3 of us, and all abstaining? Chelsea and Pat, thank you very much. Okay, so those are all set. We're going to move on from the approval of minutes to teaching and learning highlights. So just, we have the Robotics Club. If you guys want to come on up, and just remember to, if you are speaking, to speak into the microphone so the people at home can hear you, if you're able to. Come on up. As they're setting up, I just wanted to say real quick that somebody that I know that used to be in district that now lives in Maine was at this event, and it was like a fan club. I got a picture. Look at the Foxborough High School. They were so excited. So I'm really excited about this. Thanks for being here. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm really excited about this teaching and learning highlight too, and you're going to tell us all about it, but just want to recognize Mr. James and Dr. Macharnik as far as they're fearless leaders and that robot. So take it away, fellas.
All right. I'm Jackson Palmer, 5 Van Doren Ave. So here's our robot. We worked with a couple other students to start up this club over the summer last year. And we requested a grant through the Meditech grant that was already in the system. And we used that funding to sign up for the FRC competition. And it's a major robotics competition in the area, and many other schools compete in it. We're good friends with Walpole, a local. They have a local team, and then also OA and a couple others as well. And it's a really large event that allows people like ourselves, students, to work on robots and compete with them. So this year we had to move these PVC pipes around and put them at different levels and just move them around. And then we also had a climbing mechanism too, where we had to lift the entire robot off the ground. So we went for a trough design, and it was very similar to what they gave us for like a base design they provided us. But then we modified this design by adding the climber in the back. Does anyone else want to?
Yeah, so just about the, hi, Nolan O'Brien, I'm a senior at Foxborough High School. So starting this club, we really didn't know what we were getting into despite being very excited about it. But when we first attended our first competition with a robot that we just got from basically the basic kit that we had a very rudimentary robot compared to a lot of other teams, and we were overwhelmed. But going in there, we were surprised by the culture of the event, of the first robotics competition, the whole organization, of how much collaboration was just natural for all the other teams. And everybody was willing to, they recognized us as a rookie team. They saw our number, which is based off, what year and what time we signed up for this program. And they saw all that we had and all that we didn't have. And they were offering so much. Like, hey, do you need these spare parts? Do you need these tools? And during the competition and in the weeks that followed for the next competitions, we would always be receiving help. We would be receiving advice. We took field trips to other schools like Walpole and OA. And we just learned so much from them. And I think we really couldn't have done it without the help of other schools that were really established. And it just made me so much more excited about a future where we could have a really established program as well, like other schools, especially when we visited Bridgewater Raynham Regional High School. They had a very large program of about 50 mentors and maybe 100 or so kids. They built even multiple robots. So I hope that someday we can get our club to a level like that where we can really, be successful in later levels of competition and have the funding to continue this with a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Owen McAuliffe on 47 Spring Street. To piggyback off of what Nolan said, the cooperation in these competitions is really on another level. We've been altering our robot all season. Like, how it looks now is completely different from how it started at the beginning between every competition, and like, we've been working on it for hours a day, every single day after school. So at the competition that we did most recently at WPI, it was our first time that we had the climber. And in the second competition, we got the first climb. And I had people I'd never met before from other teams coming up to me, giving high fives, telling me like how amazing it was that we were able to get the climb. And like just that community that we were able to foster just from making this robot get 6 inches off the ground was kind of crazy. And it really does make me really hopeful to keep this going, to try to then, once we are one of the more experienced teams, to be able to give that back to the other rookie teams as this continues to grow.
It's fantastic.
I'm Elliot Link, just going off of I'm a junior at Foxborough High School. Just going off of what Nolan and Owen said again. When we first started this club, we didn't really know what we were getting into. And especially just one thing was the bumpers. In the competitions, these robots move quite fast, putting it lightly, and they can get quite thrashed around. So the bumper kind of fell apart, and we didn't know how to do this, so we became friends with Walpole, who has a strong program, like you said, and they actually invited us there later in the following weeks and taught us how to do this, and that was invaluable. Without that experience, we wouldn't have done very well as a club in the following weeks. Just the support we gained from other schools really helped us.
It's fantastic.
Love that.
So can I ask you what that looks like an award right there on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Yeah.
Is this the rookie one?
Because they're very humble.
Yeah. Okay. Alvin Pham from Fort Garry Road. This is the Rookie All-Star Award that we got at WPI. And it was that meet, we ended up going to the playoffs and qualifying. So the way it worked is there was multiple matches, qualifying matches, and then we placed very well in those. And individually, as a team, we did very well and was able to place very high in the seeding. And then there's a selection process from the upper seeds, and none of them chose us. But because we were so high seeded, when another team or another robot breaks, we are able to step in and play as a support and fill in for them. And we did really well there, and a lot of the progress we made and help we got from others allowed us to really, well, it just allowed us to do well, I guess. No need to be fancy. We were awarded this Rookie All-Star Award that respects the community that we've been a part of, and it helps a lot with, sorry,
No, that's okay. I bet you it builds your confidence, too, to get that award and be recognized.
Yeah.
It seems like you've got a great team here.
It was very performance-based and also very character-based. We worked very well with other communities. We did a lot of reaching out to work with other communities. They reached out to us, but most of it was us going to them and actively looking for our own growth. And for a rookie team, this was one of the more advanced robots, and it also performed much better than many of the other robots at the competition, despite being a rookie team.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add on to that I think the biggest reason why we received a Rookie All-Star Award is despite doing well, we didn't win the playoffs or anything. It wasn't a story of, wow, the rookie team gets the first place medal. It was really just a story of our spirit despite being like having a monetary disadvantage, an experience disadvantage from these other teams. It was, I remember one time before each match would start, each team would have their own logo, they'd have their own mascot. Some teams would be waving a flag of like their team for their their robotics team, and we had nothing. So we decided to come up with the little idea of before each match, we just drop to the ground and do a bunch of push-ups. So that was a little way of just building team spirit, and it became our thing. We were known for it, like no matter where we went in future weeks.
That's awesome.
Like that was our little thing, and I think that spirit, despite our disadvantages, our shortcomings in our first year doing this, I think that's what really won us a Rookie All-Star award and made us stand out.
That's fantastic.
Adding on to that a little bit about the award, it allowed us the opportunity to go for an interview to qualify for the national competition in Houston. And we didn't compete at the Rookie All-Star thing, but we did get a chance at the interview. And at the interview, the interviewer mentioned that he remembered us for doing our push-ups.
I would remember that.
Yeah, and he really liked how team-spirited we are and how we supported others. Like, even after we were out of the playoffs and the broken robot came back in, we did push-ups for that entire lineup instead of just us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael Wooden from 7 Jennifer Lane in Foxborough. Adding on to what's been previously said, I think one of the biggest things we've gotten out of this is just an experience. We've all really enjoyed this experience and got a lot out of it, and we've all come a lot closer with each other, and we've all made a lot of memories. And I think if we had more funding, not only could we increase our memories, but help other schools experience that as well. And it will help especially because at least the 6 of us at this table are all very passionate about STEM and engineering, as well as Dr. Maternick and Mr. James. And it could potentially increase that passion in our school and other schools where it would help.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So are we going to get to see the robot do something? Sure. I mean, you did bring it. I was so excited.
Is it just the 6 of you? Is that the core team? The whole team?
A few more.
Oh, there's a few more that just weren't able to come tonight.
Yeah, we started with about maybe like 5 people, and we've grown to a group of probably about 12 people that were just like on and off, contributing, being part of the
That's
club.
fantastic. Are there any other questions while they're setting up?
While
I'm
they're
so
setting
excited.
up, what's the plaque for? Is that for something separate?
Oh, the plaque.
The plaque's the same award. They gave us a plaque and a trophy.
Wow.
So it's the same thing.
That's awesome.
All right. So while we wait for the robot to boot up a little bit, I'm just going to talk about the funding that we saw and the great resources that we noticed at the other competitions. So we noticed that the other teams had immense resources, but not only immense resources, but also a ton of big name sponsors. There were many sponsors. I know like TI, like Texas Institute, who make like the calculators, they sponsored. Like AMD sponsored. They had some Apple sponsors. NASA sponsors.
Raytheon.
Wow.
Yeah. So Johnson & Johnson as well. So there were some really large sponsors, and it was really hard as a team that, as a district, we aren't allowed to get sponsors. So it's really hard for us to come up with this funding, and we're lucky to have the grant, but the grant isn't sustainable. So it's not only the funding, but it's also the whole idea of the sponsorship and allowing us to have sponsors like these other teams. So it is really, we tried really hard to be competitive with the resources we had, and we did a really good job at doing the little things like building our spirit through like the push-ups, and we wore suits to the interview as well, and that was another thing that they pointed out that they really liked that. But it's really hard without the resources that some of these other schools have. And that was really eye-opening at these competitions to see, like, they brought a whole workshop that was like their travel workshop, and it was way better than any setup we have here. So it just showed us that with these greater resources, we accomplished a lot this year, but if we were able to get sponsors in the future, we would really have a greater outlet for our STEM passion, and we could accomplish much more.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, like, well, with the limited funding, we have to figure out what we need to build and then know what we need for it, and then we're able to purchase whatever we need. Where these other teams just have everything on hand because they just buy things because they all have like these insane amounts of money to use. So they can just like go, and they're able to be way more a lot more efficient with their time, where we will have days where we just don't have the things we need to continue building our robot because we've realized that we needed it yesterday and we haven't had time to order it. So just like being able to have the money to see. So, like, yeah, we might have bought a few extra bolts, but we can deal with that because we have some more room money-wise, and then we can like still use those next year or whatever.
Oh yeah, so part of the first robotics competition was each year there's a different game with a rule set. There's a different arena. So this year, I don't know if you can see from the plaque, but it was called Reefscape, and it was this underwater theme. It wasn't an underwater robot, but you had to like score points using by collecting things like algae, which were really like, you know, these big kickballs, or coral, which was really just like these the PVC pipe that you see stored in there already. So a robot had to do a few things. It had to like climb onto the cage, like we said. It had to be able to like collect coral that was like being deployed, the PVC pipes that were like from a ramp from people, and then that could be deployed using like, you know, motors in there with our system of wheels up there. So there was a lot of different ways we could score points. It was a complicated game, and I know it was overwhelming for us to learn. But I think that was one of the most exciting things about the competition. It's a new theme every year. It's a new game every year with new rules. And yeah, I think we did a really good job with the robot this year.
Great job.
All right. You want to see it move around a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want to catch the coral? So the coral, we pull up to the container.
Jackson, you can use this one if you want. Yeah. Can you get over there?
All right. So we pull up to the container where we drop off the coral, and then we pull up. Is it on? Okay. And then we. That's not plugged in.
Technical difficulties. You're gonna do some push-ups while they.
That's what it's missing.
Missed opportunity.
I'm not busy right now.
So this is when another team would come and help us. As advisors, while they're working on this, as advisors, it was tremendous to see the growth of confidence. I am not a tech person. Putting two Legos together is my skill, and watching them descend upon this robot like a pack of hungry hyenas day after day and make these improvements, I was amazed at what they were capable of doing. And it's just tremendous to see.
You got it?
All right. It doesn't seem to be working right now. We'll work on it later.
It did too many push-ups earlier, don't worry.
I can demonstrate it. So these wheels, we have a resetting mechanism because sometimes when we drop it in, we noticed that it was like coming in like sideways like that. So we would reset it like that, and then it like spins like this and drops it out. And that's pretty much all it does. It's a solid catch. And then I'll turn it around a little bit, and you can see this is the climber. So it extends out a little bit more. And then we tested with this. Oh, Almond's got it. Okay. So we tested with this different material, and this different material grips this cage thing, which is made of metal, and it pretty much just grabs on. And with friction, we noticed that we can allow it to just to lift the whole robot up, and that worked really well. We based it off some other designs we found online, and then I'm just going to talk about the drivetrain a little bit. We have kind of an obsolete system that not many teams use. All the teams have this cool thing called swerve drive, and you can think of it as like a chair
like a rolling chair, where it can just go in any direction. But what we have is called tank drive. So each joystick controls each side of the robot like that. So it can only rotate or can go forward and backwards. So it's a really hard system to control, but even with that, we were able to overcome that, and it still plays really well in the competition for our rookie year and with the robot we have.
That's fantastic.
Great
You
job.
guys are awesome.
We have a lot more room to control it during the competition. The field that we drive it on is about the size of this whole room. So just imagine that with 6 or 5 other robots, and it gets pretty hectic, but also it's a lot of fun. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
How many total competitions have you done so far?
So the competitions, they worked in weeks. So each weekend, like both days, all day would be competitions, and at the end of each weekend would be like the playoffs for that weekend. So we competed at 2 different weeks. 1 week was at Revere High School. That was that Saturday and Sunday. We were there, in 2 different shifts of people for each day. And then 2 weeks later, after making a lot of modifications to our robot, we were at WPI there, just like Revere. It was, Saturday and Sunday all-day event. So, yeah, we played around 20 games in total, I'd say, over the 2 weekends. And, yeah, it was a blast.
Awesome.
Does
I'd
the
like to add
robot?
something.
Oh, sorry. I had a question. Does the robot have to be wired in order to operate? Do you have to wire it into the laptop?
No, this box right here is actually the wireless, and there we can configure it, and we can configure it on our own, so it's wireless, it just communicates with the laptop.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that during the first competition, another display of the community of robotics is that the code the entire code just stopped working. As the coder, I was sick that day, so I wasn't actually able to be there and help, and it was really frustrating. Jackson and a few of the others just kept calling me that entire day, but we were able to get one of the other teams to help us rebuild the entire code from scratch. And just looking at their code later on, I learned a lot from them. And even though it wasn't directly them helping me, I was still able to learn a lot from what they did.
That's awesome.
Love that.
I love the message of collaboration throughout everything everyone's commented. It's really amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys coming today. Did you have anything?
Just say great job. I mean, this is fascinating. This was not something that was around 3 years ago when I was at the high school. So this is truly remarkable that you guys like student-led initiative. So I think that is really important. Congratulations to all of you, and I'm sure this club's going to keep doing incredible things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great job.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Great job.
Oh my God, so awesome. I don't know how you're going to top that.
I'm not even going to try.
That was great.
I think Dr. Donovan gets the job of driving it back to the high school, too.
Careful.
So cool. It's like their baby.
Mm-hmm.
So just to start the update, I mean, one of the things since our last school committee meeting, we heard the news from NEASC as far as the Foxborough High School accreditation. That was, some of you took place, I know, Sarah, you did, back when we had our visit in the fall. And so that is an accreditation for 10 years. We had that piece. There's a lot of work that goes into that. We have many steps along the way to get to that point, to hear that news when we heard that back on April the 10th. And I just wanted to kind of point out some of the things from the NEAS report and from that accreditation. So Kristen Dorico and Shannon Wazalewski were the co-chairs of that, but then you had a whole team and the high school staff and faculty, the amount of work that they put into that, and it's not just in 1 year, it's multiple years. And some of the comments that came back from the accreditation team really spoke to the positive and respectful culture that we have, in addition to like the collegial and supportive relationships amongst the administration and staff. When we think about the availability of technology to enhance instruction and what teachers and educators are doing at the high school, the variety of school-to-career opportunities and programs, and continuing to expand, that's definitely an area that we're wanting to continue to expand those opportunities, just as you saw the expansion of the Robotics Club this evening. And really looking at what are the academic goals that we have at the high school and the progress that's been made. Just wanted to do a complete shout out to the high school, to Dr. Donovan and his team and the faculty and staff there, because it is not unnoticed the extraordinary amount of effort that goes into getting that accreditation for the high school. So it really is a large project over multiple years. And not only acknowledging staff from there, I want to acknowledge as part of Staff Appreciation Week and Nurse Appreciation National, our parents and guardians from our PTOs and our PACs and parents even at the high school. What an extraordinary effort to be able to really shout out to our teachers and staff and the recognitions. I've seen that firsthand even in these 2 days so far. I know that a lot of time and effort has really been put into how can they really thank the teachers that work with our students and our staff every single day. So I want to thank them for putting on what they're doing, which I know we've got a week full of different surprises that will take place. So I know how appreciative our staff is, and to really recognize the efforts of all. Some upcoming productions. There are many things on the calendar. This is the time of year when really you need to check your calendars, because whether it's art shows, whether it's concerts, whether it's drama productions, there are many to choose from to go out and to really see the extraordinary efforts of our students and all those that have supported to get them for those productions. So even as an example, the Lion King Jr., you've got a number of different performances that you can attend to the middle school coming up on the 8th and 9th at 7 p.m. and then on the 10th at 1 p.m. and at 7. Again, check the district calendar or even your individual school calendars for all of those. And it was a lot of those dates were also included in the spotlight that I had sent out yesterday. So lots to come out to see and to hear. The other thing that I wanted to mention as far as the update is we have our strategic planning committee that's been working. That's a very large group of administrators, teachers, parents and guardians, community members from Foxborough working, and we've had 3 district meetings so far on that. I bring that up now. We're continuing. We have another meeting coming up in June and then in July. But one of the things that has really come to our attention when we think about our focus groups and our surveys, so we always come back and present here to school committee the culture and climate survey data in October because we administer that this time of year. We're not going to administer that survey at this time of year right now. We're going to push that into the fall. And the reason is there's a lot of redundancy in the survey that already went out as part of that strategic planning and that data coming back. So I just wanted to mention that. We will still continue to engage in that. We've had that going on for 11 years, but we're going to push that into the beginning of October to give some time for a couple different reasons. 1, participation rate, and then 2, it is, there's a lot of redundancy, but taking the information that we have from it now that's going to really give us information towards, and the group is already using that, and then to be able to come back, and there might be other questions that we want to kind of look at a little bit differently based on the work that we're engaged in at this point in time. So again, thank you to all that are making this a great celebratory week for our teachers and staff. And go out and see a production, go listen to a concert, go see an art show. There's lots to choose from.
It's May-cember. Thank you so much. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on now to the school committee student representatives, Yasmin and Stevie.
So to start off, for the next 2 weeks, we are having AP exams. That's high school only because that is where the APs are. And so that'll be going on for the next 2 weeks. 2 students were named this year's Hockomock Scholar Athletes. It was Audrey Paulino and Evan Stein. So just congratulations to them. For graduation portraits for seniors, the pre-orders start on June 8th for those. And on May 17th, there's going to be a yard sale at the FHS gym. It's a $25 fee to just book a spot and sell your stuff. The proceeds from that $25 fee will be going to the community warriors. Any questions on that, you can contact Ms. Keller at Keller, K-A, at Foxborough, K12ma.us. And then Yasmin.
First of all, we have junior prom this weekend, this Saturday from 6 to 10. We also had the French exchange students come back from France over spring break. I was not a student that went, but I am a French student, and I've heard only good things and positive things from it. I've heard it was a fun and amazing trip, and I wish I went. We also had World Culture Night, which was April 14th. It was a great event. We had over 200 people go. That was not including any volunteers or hosters, so I would say around 250, maybe even more. We are looking forward for next year, and I hope to see you all there, so stay tuned. And we have 29 more days until summer.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we have Foxborough High School guidance services update. We have Mr. Savidio.
How's it going, everyone? So I'm going to go through our guidance report for the year. As you can see in the report, as you probably received last week, we have a ton of guidance services that we go through. I'm not going to go through each one. There's just too much to talk about. But in kind of each of the 4 buckets, there's kind of 1 or 2 points I'm going to go over from each of them. So in the transition area, I'm going to start with our group guidance classes and our transition from middle school to high school, and then our transition from high school to post-secondary plans. That's kind of what I'm going to focus on. So as students come in from 8th grade into 9th grade, we really try to help them understand what it's like to be in the high school, know the lay of the land, the faculty. So we go down to the Ahern, do some scheduling in January-ish, but that's like our first direct contact with students. But we have some nights throughout the year, which I'll get to a little bit later on, but we have some open houses and some other opportunities for students and parents to get to know the high school staff. By the time the year ends, we do our step-up day, so students have an understanding of what high school is really like. They come up, the 8th graders check out the high school for a couple hours, they have lunch, and then there's Link Crew, which transitions them into our high school with some of our student leaders. And then we actually focus on some group guidance classes to try to help students adjust. And then by the time they go through high school, we're kind of thinking like, all right, you're transitioning in, but we got to transition you out. And it's a building process. And that's really what a lot of our group guidance class is all about. So when we start our freshman classes, we look at graduation requirements, transcript, the importance of the academic record. We do some goal setting for students, and it's really, all right, give us a goal for the next month. Give us a goal for the next quarter, the next year. And we try to have students set realistic, attainable goals for themselves. And we always say, like, it's important to challenge yourself. Don't make it too easy where you can get them all, no problem, but don't make it too hard where you can't achieve any of them. Find that balance. Sophomore year, we go through a lot of career exploration. We use Naviance for that. Junior and senior year, it's really kind of getting into that post-secondary planning. So junior year, it's the junior timeline. We really explore Naviance, have them go through and do college searches and post-secondary plan searches. And then during senior year, it's really kind of the real process of going through it all. So we push into senior classes, to freshman, sophomore, junior classes, and we pull out for senior classes. So what I'm really saying is during Freshmen and sophomores, we go into health classes, and we take a couple classes from our health teachers for the content. And then for juniors, we go into social studies classes, and at that point, kind of go through everything. And then senior year, we pull them out of some electives and some studies and things like that for the beginning of the year. One of the things that we're doing a little differently this year is our group guidance program is changing a little bit. Is Bruce Hamilton, who's our college counselor, who's awesome. He usually does a junior planning session in late May, where we haven't attended those in the past, and we're kind of closing the loop of the group guidance piece, and we're going to be attending those as the counselors, so it's not just Bruce doing his own thing in kind of like a silo, it's us together. And same thing with Hannah LeBeau, who is our school to career coordinator. She is going to be going into some sophomore classes in late May, early June to help students for the second piece of the career exploration with resume writing and job interview skills and all that. So as I said to the committee members who have been here before, we ripped the group guidance curriculum apart over the past couple of years, and we're kind of rebuilding it to be more applicable to the students that we have in front of us right now, not the students from 2013, 2014. We're trying to make it real. Scheduling, I'll talk about this super fast. I could talk about scheduling forever. I love the schedule. I like building it. It's really interesting. It's frustrating, but I really like the scheduling, and that's me as like the master scheduler. But the scheduling process is one of the things all the counselors have said. All the counselors I've worked with in the past and all the counselors now, we get to sit with our students. We get to talk about what they're interested in now, what they want to do later. So I'll have a freshman come in and 14 years old, like, what do you want to do after high school? And some are like, I want to do this, 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 this. It's like unreal. Others are like, I have no idea. I'm like, okay, you don't have to know, but it's about the process. It's about seeing where you are year to year and having those conversations and trying to help them figure out who they are and the right classes and the right kind of cocktail classes for them. Like, I like the conversations with the students about the scheduling, but then I really like building it and working with the department heads about sections and teaching assignments and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty lengthy process. We start in January, and we're really going up against it until like the day before school, making final last minute changes. We do have a couple new courses for next year. So Principles of Biomedical Science, Principles of Engineering, Environmental Sustainability, which is really a course we've had before. We're just kind of shifting it from a semester to a full year. And then we got rid of our architectural CAD class, and it transitioned over to a manufacturing CAD. So for student services, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the mental health team. I talked about a lot of that last year. We still have our mental health team, which meets every other week. But what we decided to do to make it more efficient is we broke it down into 2 student support teams. So we have the big mental health team, and then the student support team is broken down pretty much by how the alphabets shake out. So the beginning of the alphabet, A through K, there's one assistant principal, social worker. There's 3 guidance counselors because Erin Healy-Botello is right in the middle, so she has some for the team 1 and team 2, and then team 2 is the rest of the alphabet, L through Z, and it's the same process with the assistant principal in the second half of the alphabet. And we really just come together to figure out what's going on with certain students and how can we come up with strategies to intervene before problems really become too much of an issue. And the mental health team is more the big picture stuff. What are we seeing globally? How do we address the concerns globally? And the student support team is more individual specific interventions. One of the things that came from that in our Bridge program, which is a transition program for students out for an extended period of time, they could be out because of a hospitalization, they could be out because they broke their leg and they had some surgery and they were out for a week or 2, they could have had mono. Variety of reasons why students are out, they need help getting back in. So that's our Bridge program, but one of the things we did this year is more in-depth is a Tier 2 directed study. So we have our directed studies in the high school where students go to the media center, and it's kind of like a free period for them to get work done. There's a teacher there if they need help. The Bridge program is very specific. They are working with a smaller population of students for a short amount of time just to kind of get them back on track, making sure they have the right interventions to get them where they need to be. We found a ton of success in that. It's not designed to be a full quarter or a semester or a year. It could be 3 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. Students can come in and out of that directed study, but we found that it really is helpful for students who need that extra bit of support. So parent education, Dr. Donovan does a weekly newsletter, and Bruce Hamilton, our college counselor, does the guidance section. He does like 99% of it himself. There's so much in there. He does so much. He's so great. But it's a great way for us to let families know, even if it's a quick hit and you're scrolling through the things that are happening in the guidance world. We have a ton of evening presentations. I don't need to go through all of them here, but we do them from the beginning of the year through the end of the year, of the school year. And it's really for students who are in 7th and 8th grade, like incoming freshmen. We have our program of studies night. We have our junior parent night, or we have a senior financial aid night. All in all, we probably see about 700 or so parents throughout the year at these events. And we really want to make sure that they understand what we're doing, just so we're connecting together. We have conversations with students, parents have conversations with students, but we want to kind of have those conversations together so we're all on the same page, we all understand what's going on. So we're actually not going to be going to the college fair in Boston this year. It was too much for us as far as the time went, so we're going to be going to one at Bridgewater State instead. The one in Boston was good. It took us 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back, and we were only there for like an hour and some change. It just wasn't a valuable use of time. It was a great experience for students. The one in Bridgewater is at the end of the month. It will be on May 29th. It's closer, 100+ colleges. There's going to be still some seminars for students. One of the things that I really value, and Bruce Hamilton and I were talking about it, it's an opportunity for students to actually go to a college campus. There are several students in our building who have never seen a college in real life, and even just driving through the campus is a good experience for students. So we're excited for that. It's a couple hours of students to kind of walk around, check things out, kind of really start the process for the juniors. Some juniors are ready to go, and some still need a little bit of a nudge, and that's okay. That's why we're doing these things. Our college rep visits, so Bruce Hamilton, as the college advisor, he's done a lot with this. We've had over 65 college representatives in our building. The best part about that is almost all the time, the reps who come and speak to our students are the ones reading the student's application. So we really urge students, if you're kind of sort of considering college A, B, or C, and they're coming, make the time, have that conversation. I use this example all the time. We had a student a couple of years ago who wanted to go to a college, and he was the only person who signed up for the visit. So he pretty much had a one-on-one with the rep. It was almost like an interview. It was a very casual, very easy, but that rep knew the student. It wasn't just, here's a name, here's a number, application. They actually got to know the student, and that's a real benefit for our students at Foxborough High School to be able to make those connections. Field trips, we've done a lot of them this year. We already talked about the college one coming up, but Hannah LeBeau and Bruce Hamilton are kind of our field trip people, and we've done, I think, 5 this year, and there's usually 25, 30, give or take, students, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But we started in October, and the last one was in January, and that's kind of really for the students. Mostly it's seniors, but we definitely have some juniors who attend as well. The one in, November for UMass Dartmouth, that's an on-the-spot decision day. So students go there, they have their application, their admissions rep read their app right then, and they tell them, yes, you've been accepted, or, you know what, maybe right now you're not accepted, do X, Y, and Z, put your application in later, but we've had students be accepted on the spot on that day, which is great for students. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I went through it really fast. I don't want to go on and on forever about everything, but I just want to kind of give the quick hits, but I want to hear from you. What questions do you have?
So I don't have any questions for you, but I just want to say, as a parent of a senior, I've seen a lot of this up close and personal over the last 4 years. And even though you buzzed through the 95 slides, I felt like you really did a good job, and you hit a lot of the high notes that mean a lot to me as a parent. So I would just want to say thank you and say that I think you guys do a fantastic job in that guidance department. Really, like, life-changing, and I'm not being overly dramatic. I really do think you guys do a great job.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments or anything?
Just that I appreciate the fact that you're constantly adjusting your programs and how you handle the students, because as we know, things change fast. It isn't like it used to be. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question, the college fair, is there like student interest? What are you seeing in terms of that? Because I know that's something we touched on when I was back on the school council, that students were interested in the college fair. Are we seeing that's happening, that students want to go to these fairs?
We're in that process right now. We just put it out to juniors last week saying, hey, if you want to sign up, we pretty much have like 2 buses worth, so we can have about 100 students. So we're not fully there as far as what the actual number is going to be, but we got a bunch of students sign up right away. So we're guessing that we'll have probably the real information by the end of the week, but as of right now, it seems like students are interested in getting out of the building and seeing colleges firsthand.
I love the thoughtfulness of less time on the bus commuting versus more time at the college fair. And I love the thoughtfulness of bringing students to an actual college campus. So thank you for that, too.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions for you. I love the idea of like setting goals, right? And you said like, what's just 1 month rather than let's think about 4 years ahead. Are you connecting with like the middle school guidance there as well? I know you represent like the high school, so they're kind of setting kids up to kind of get in that same mentality before getting to the high school of just like goal setting in general?
We have conversations, but we're kind of each individual like level. So elementary kind of does their thing, middle does theirs, and high school we do ours. We definitely have conversations. Whoever the 8th grade counselor is each year, I'm always working with that counselor as it rotates through. And we kind of let them know what's going on, but we also understand that we have our program and they have their program. I think like anything, we're trying to see like what's coming our way and where can we meet them. And right now we're saying we can meet them freshman year, but what can we do to maybe meet them in 8th grade or 7th grade? That's something that's on the horizon, but it's not really completely like fleshed out right now.
Great. And then, again, I agree with Sarah. I love less commuting and more the meat of what you're looking for. In this section, it had college and career services, but all of the actual slides were about college. So that could also be just something you're transitioning. Are you looking at opportunities for kind of more career services in there as well?
Yeah, so Hannah LeBeau is our school career coordinator. So she's the career person. She does some stuff with different outreach to different organizations as well. The field trips just happen to be this year more of like a cocktail of colleges. Year to year, we get more of like a little bit of 4-year college, a little bit of 2-year college, a little kind of certificate program, licensure. It just depends year to year. So some years is a little bit heavier more on the career services. Some years it's a little bit heavier towards the college.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was wondering about the sophomore year part of the group guidance with the career exploration. What does that sort of entail, just for some more detail for
Yeah. So there's a program called Naviance. It's a web-based program that we've been using, I think, pretty much since I've been at the high school, this is year 18 for me. So I've been here for a long time. And what we do during our sophomore year is we have students go through, it's almost like an interest inventory. There's a bunch of different versions of it. There's one that we use that takes about 15 or so minutes for students. And they go through and it's really just things I like, things I'm good at, subjects I like, and then it gives them kind of an umbrella category or categories of where their interests lie. And when I did it, it's like 100% exactly me. So it's talk to some students like, I don't want to be a farmer. I'm like, well, it doesn't, because you got agriculture doesn't mean you have to be a farmer. Like that's not exactly what it means. But they get kind of those big umbrella categories. And then from there, they do a little bit of a deep dive. So they're like, okay, what are the related majors? What are the related careers? And they start kind of like, it's not necessarily like a favorite, I'm gonna do that, but it's like, oh, colleges I'm considering, and they can add a little heart on Naviance, and then this way it builds a constant list of careers that they might have an interest in based on their strengths and weaknesses, and that interest inventory can be done again. It can always be reset. So sometimes sophomores are like, I kind of went through a junior year, I'm a different person, but it's really just a way for them to get exposed to what's out there. One of the great things about that tool is if they do have an idea of like, I'm kind of interested in A, B, C, or D, when you go to the related majors, you click on that and you can filter it down. So you might have like a related major and there's like 5,000 results. And you say, okay, just in Massachusetts, and it shows you the 38 colleges that offer that major. And then it kind of tailors to your needs. So that's kind of the beginning section of what we're doing to really get students understanding kind of who they are and what's out there. I mean, it's hard in high school. It's the 5 majors of English, math, science, history, language, and we get some electives in there, but there's so much out in the world that doesn't necessarily fit exactly into that box, so we want to get students exposed to what's out there. And then with Hannah going in at the end, it's really just kind of those job building skills and kind of job researching skills.
It's fantastic. Thank you. Just want to say I'm smiling at Stephanie because throughout this whole presentation, I just keep thinking the multi-tiered system of support, and it's just woven in and embedded into everything you're saying, that like individual approach in every student and following them and tracking them and make sure it's great. It's great to see. It's funny, we hear presentations all the time, but it's nice to see it kind of all come together.
I will add too that as a parent too, I'm just now really digging into the Neviance platform, and it is amazing what they have in there. From the career exploration to looking at different colleges, you can actually, because it's connected with your data, you can look at the acceptance rates for students with your exact profile and whether or not you're likely to get admitted into that college. It really is an amazing tool. I love it. I recommend students and parents spend some time in there because it can be really helpful and eye-opening as you're getting started with that college or career search to see what really is going to fit your needs and your interests. It's a wonderful platform and built into group guidance. Kids are getting comfortable with it over the course of their 4 years of high school. It's not just something that they're sitting down in September or October of senior year and then picking colleges out of a hat. It's really a structured process that our counselors are guiding kids through. So it's a fantastic platform, and our guidance department does an excellent job guiding kids in that process.
I concur. Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. So now we have our Wellness Committee update. I don't know if anyone can top that robot and then the push-up kicker, but it's been valiant efforts.
I wonder how many push-ups the Wellness Committee can do.
We are not.
I know, wellness team
You
should
missed
do
it.
the
You'll have to
push-ups, right?
YouTube what happened before you got hit.
I heard about it.
Very impressive. They were adding the clap. Did you guys see that? They were adding the clap on the push-ups.
It's good.
It's no joke. They did you proud on the wellness.
Do you know if our PowerPoint is up?
It's just clicking through the rest of the slides.
There's like a ton of slides.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was very thorough.
Overachiever. We do not have 70 slides.
There's no shortage of guidance information, I will say. That's one thing. There's no complaints.
Here we go. There it is.
All right.
Do we want to start with introductions because we have new members?
Yes, sure. So you'll see we have Chelsea McHugh and we have Pat McGuire, who joined us as of last night. They were sworn in last night onto the school committee.
Congratulations.
Yeah, welcome.
So I'm Jen Rosenberg. I'm the district nurse leader here and also the school nurse at Adjourn.
Janice Watt, food service director.
Amy Muldowney, community wellness coordinator.
And CJ Neely, Wellness Department Head.
Otherwise known as the A-team. We named ourselves. All right, we'll start.
Oh, yeah, so policy review. So the wellness policy, annually we have to review it, not annually, every 3 years we're supposed to review our wellness policy. And we did have the assistance of a wellness coach from Framingham State to help us with that. We use the Alliance for Healthier Generation tool to analyze our policy and review it. So we have, we got the results and we had some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
The bones were there.
The bones were there. I got to say, when we had our program audit, they were very impressed with the amount of time we actually meet and the meat and potatoes that we cover on wellness teams. So we're doing well on the wellness. So anyway, we drafted an updated policy based on the scores from the assessment, basically what's missing, and we looked at model policies just to get snippets and ideas for that. So next steps, we're going to review the draft with the wellness team and the coach, and then from there, the coach brings it to the DESE partner to have them have a look at it. And then next steps, I've been here a lot this year with policy. We'll be bringing the policy to the school committee to get that approved, hopefully. Food service.
That's you.
What a transition. So it was a really great year. As you know, we had a successful administrative review. It's once every 4 or 5 years. The reviewer was very impressed with our program, with the things that we've done. My staff is amazing. Just really proud of what they did. We had some very minor findings. Glad to have that behind us so we can move on. So meal participation is still thriving. Like, we are chugging away with universal free meals. I have a full staff, and we need it, doing 677 breakfasts a day and 1,900 lunches per day. So we're the biggest restaurant in town when you think about it, right? Really proud to have launched this Healthy Pro menu analysis software. My assistant Rachel worked really hard on that. It gives parents nutrition information. Our allergy parents really love it because they can see it all. There's pictures. In the App Store, you can get the app. It's My School Menus, which is really great. In concert with that, we're going to be launching a new food service website. It's got a fresh new look. The one we have now is kind of old, like me. But anyway, it will link automatically to that website, that Healthy Pro, and the nurses love it too, just because you can filter the allergens. So say you have a student, I can't have soy. Well, you can click on that, and it will just say, okay, you can have these items. So tremendous savings, tremendous information. We're fortunate to, one of the findings of our review was we need to spend some money, which is a nice thing. So I'm gathering quotes for new equipment. So we can't have more than 3 months operating expenses in our fund balance. So, I'm looking, so you need to use the funds to improve the program. So I'm looking at buying new dishwashers, combi ovens, Energy Star stuff. A lot of our stuff, it has been quality and it's still running great, but it's nice to be able to have the luxury to update these things to improve the program. And last, I'm really excited about this one. We got this CCAP culinary grant for Foxborough High School. So the acronym stands for Creating and Executing a Culinary Advancement Plan. So it's kind of like a hands-on training through John Stalker Institute. They bring chefs in, they mentor the staff. It's a tiered training program, so it's hands-on. So they'll come work with the staff on some prep, tips like knife skills and that sort of thing. And then they will come and do a taste testing with students, and then the final day, they have a live setting where the chef is there guiding the staff on preparing these special meals. So I polled the students because there are 4 choices of culinary cuisines to choose from. So there's Mediterranean, Asian, fusion, Latin, and Indian. And I did a QR code last week, and Asian won. So we're going to be doing that. So, you're looking at nutrient density, you're looking at using local products and culturally responsible. So that is it for food service, but we did a lot. Yeah, it was a great year. Thank you.
Awesome. I think I'm up next. Health services, yeah. So it has definitely been a busy year in health services. I think my past 12 years as a school nurse, this was probably the most sick people have been from respiratory illnesses. We did, during the pandemic, we gained a strong partnership with our local Board of Health, and that partnership continues today, which I'm so proud of. They are amazing. They support our school community. We were able to host 3 flu clinics with the nurses, along with public health. So we were getting as many people vaccinated in our school community as we could. So that was good. I was proud of that, and I think that will continue moving forward. Also, one of the areas that we're working on in school nursing is addressing chronic absenteeism. We have, as a team, reached out to providers, and this year we were fortunate to have Mr. Michael Lazik and Mr. Stanton from the Taylor join us at one of our monthly nurses meetings with our town doctor. And that was really exciting to have that partnership, just to talk about, we were getting a lot of provider notes and just to understand where they're coming from. So that was a very long meeting, but it was very successful, and I feel like that's just going to be the start of that partnership with our community providers, just to get kids back in school. We're seeing our absentee just from whether it's mental health or kids that are just little school avoidance. So having that partnership with our local town physician is huge. For one of our grants, our CQI project that we chose this year in the nursing department was getting individual healthcare plans and making sure all of our students with special healthcare needs had a healthcare plan in the EMR, the electronic medical records. So we worked tirelessly, just identifying the students that needed them, and our goal was to try to get at least 50% of our students that have special healthcare needs with a healthcare plan in their record, and we're at like 65 and change % right now. So we're getting there, and that has been a huge undertaking, and that's been a couple of years in the making. We had, in response to a few instances involving life-threatening allergy and identifying that there may be a lack of awareness in some of our younger students, the elementary school nurses created a lesson for allergy awareness, and it was, I had done it last year in the 5th grade, and after speaking to my nurses, we thought maybe the target age might be 4th grade before they head up to the middle school in that transition. So they were able to create a lesson this year, and it was well received. I think it's something that everyone should know about, especially the severity of some people's allergies, and knowing what you can do in the events one of your friends has an allergic reaction. Looking ahead for next year, where Dr. Bertos had forwarded me a email from the Commonwealth Mobile Oral Health Services, which I had probably 2 weeks prior, so timing is everything, reached out to Attleboro, and they use the same program. So I have actually a Zoom meeting next week to explore potentially bringing some dental program to our students here in Foxborough. So stay tuned, because more to come with that.
Nice.
Oh, and just before, shout out to all my school nurses. Right. Tomorrow is School Nurse Day. We have an actual official day. It's tomorrow. And I honestly am so, I feel so proud to be a part of this group of women, amazing women. Their hearts are in it. They make my job very easy, and I'm proud to be a member of their team.
Awesome, great. I'm going to provide updates from the Community Wellness Corner. So essentially, that's where we're working with our community to provide those mental health resources, just overall build folks' education, our capacity as parents and caregivers. And so one of the big pieces of that has been our Parent Academy model. This was year 2 of that model. And what it really focuses on, it is the idea that we want to bring folks together to not just get that expert information, but also have conversation, eliminate stigma, help people feel comfortable reaching out for support. And it is truly a labor of love from a lot of people. So support from our wellness committee, the school nurses are there right with us. Nurse Rosenberger is there every event. Kate Woods and Chantel Wiley go to Boston so that we can run our events at the same time simultaneously and have our folks who reside in Boston or work in Boston access the event in the same way that people who are here in Foxborough are. We work with CPAC, who do a ton for us to promote and be part of it. In addition, Grace Chapel had come to us with this idea last year, and they are phenomenal in providing ideas and support. Our PTOs at each of the schools promote the events. So we were able to meet 3 times over the last 3 months. And we had great topics. It was nice this year that we had folks coming to us and saying, this is what we want to hear about. Our first one that we did in February the topic was puberty. So we brought parents in. Our speaker was Jess Zopp, who's a nurse practitioner with pediatric specialists, also a Foxborough mom, right in the thick of it with us, and was able to have that conversation with folks about what to expect developmentally, emotionally, and for people to really practice having those conversations. Another thing that we're really working on with people is we want everyone to be able to talk about anything with their kids, right? Because we know that is a fundamental part of supporting kids in school and outside of school. So the opportunity to practice talking about something that maybe not everybody learned about or heard about when they were in their youth. So we had a great group who was there for that conversation. In April, right? Oh no, our first one was in March, pardon me. It's been a long spring. In April, we did executive functioning, which again was a really cool one in that I hope you know that the Ahern instructional leadership team and all of the Ahern staff have been working really hard to target kids' executive functioning and thinking about that in a broad way, right? Executive functioning involves our organization and those types of pieces, but also that emotional regulation and the maintaining yourself in those difficult moments. So we had members of the Ahern staff be our expert speakers, and they truly went above and beyond in that they set up learning stations for the parents to be able to come in and look at materials and resources, and provided so much information. And, they had little activities within the presentation and prizes. It was a very fun night, really well attended. We had a lot of enthusiasm from people for that topic. And last night we wrapped up Parent Academy with a topic of anxiety. So Dr. Kerry Kim, who's from Braver Medical in Norwood, came out and spoke to our group who was with us in Foxborough and Boston about, the topic was anxiety or worry, when to worry, right? So we talked a lot about what is typical worry and like what's kind of the in-between that maybe you want to take some steps to support your child, and then where does worry become a problem, and what are ways that we can help kids. And I think one of the biggest messages we heard is that it's really important for us to continue to push our kids through even when they are having that anxiety and worry, and helping ourselves as caregivers do that. And it's a great crowd who comes out every night. As people were walking in last night, a lot of the same people who've come for each topic. So there's like a cheers quality to it. You're like, oh, hi, you're here. Come on in. Take your regular seat. So we really enjoyed that. I think that that's a nice piece. We hope to be able to continue that. We have one more caregiver education event, which will be McLean Consultation. They'll provide us one more lunch and learn, which will be May 15th, and they're going to talk about distress tolerance, which goes right along with that anxiety, right? Like, how do we support our kids to get through that yucky, tough stuff and, take care of ourselves in the moment to support our kids in that way.
Awesome. And I'm here to talk a little about the wellness department, what we're doing. Last year, we had our curriculum review. We had some things that really came out to light. One was aligning to the new frameworks that were released. We wanted to update some of our resources, and then we really wanted to focus on instruction and the student experience. Those are like our three key areas that we went after. And really looking through, preparing for this and just kind of the plan in general is we had a lot of recommendations come out of that, and we've done a really nice job, I think, of hitting the majority of them in year one. Even though there was a multi-year plan, I think we've done a really good job of attacking some of these right off the bat. One of them is really just kind of aligning the three elementary schools together to make sure that experience is going to be consistent from all three buildings. And that goes from things like the safe touch lesson planning that was updated recently to include now kindergarten, second grade, and fourth grade, and be updated, just updated with some new materials, as well as, the jump-off events, which were previously running at the IGO and the Taylor, kind of a celebration of heart health and cardiovascular. It's jump rope and hula hoop contest, really, but it really is a pretty cool event. And if you're interested, the new Borough event is starting on this week, May 9th, so 1:45. If you're excited to get your hula hoop on or jump rope, feel free to stop by. I'm sure Julie would love to see everyone. So that'll be all three buildings now. And having been, they all have a different kind of feel to them because all our teachers have a different personality, but pretty exciting. The kids love it. We also, have gone to a more targeted department meeting. So we had been doing a lot of K-12 department meetings, but we wanted to really meet within the 3 levels as well. So we've been doing, focused department meetings as well, and that's gone really well. The elementary teachers really needed to work together, needed more time together to really just kind of hammer away at elementary stuff that was sometimes getting general in our department meetings. It was just better to meet. So we've been doing Zooms, we've been doing in-persons, and that's been great. One of our goals is to horizontally align and get everything on, in the teams and in our packages, I guess, together, and that's been a good step for us. We'd like to, a next step for the elementary is we're trying to find a way to connect some of the high school students to visit some of those and work with some of our younger kids and get that going. So that would be great. And then we included the new mini golf units. I asked some of our teachers what they thought they wanted to add of something cool they did this year, and they sent me some really nice pictures of kids creating their own courses and playing some mini golf in class. And so I told them I would bring that up tonight. At the Adjourn, we had some new units we developed over the summertime in digital literacy and human growth and development, as well as an updated signs of suicide curriculum for 7th and 8th grade that is kind of outdated at the time. We had some materials that were 15 years old, and the message is pretty much the same still, but we need to get some more updated, just some of the skits that are on there were a little ancient, and we wanted to update those times. But honestly, having watched the curriculum be put into place last week, the teachers over there are really the curriculum. I told them when I left, I said, I'm glad we updated it, but at the end of the day, it's you guys that are, it's kind of like they show the video, there's a discussion question, and then that's when it shined. It wasn't necessarily the new curriculum that we bought. It was more along the lines of just our teachers doing an unbelievable job of talking about the things they need to talk about and making kids feel comfortable and eliminating any stigma that might be out there to be able to come forward or help somebody. And I thought that was really great. So yes, the curriculum is good, and we did invest some money into that, but I felt that, I said we should make our own and put it out there maybe for other people. So we also have started the new standard-based report cards in grade 5, and we've created all of those standards for all of the middle school as well. We did that on a professional development day. We've added and expanded on our adapted PE program. Scott Foley has really taken on a much bigger role there, and even with Matt Noon, the Foxborough Commission of Disability donated thousands of dollars of equipment. $7,000, $8,000 worth of equipment, from plyo balls to cardio drums to scooters. It's a small facility over there as far as the fitness center goes in the back corner. If you've been to the Adjourn, it's kind of tucked away in that back left corner of the old gym, but the equipment and the materials that were donated are just incredible. And that's a credit to our staff for reaching out to them, and obviously a great thanks to the commission. The next steps for them is something that we really want to get into, is some more lead-up games for some of our units in our younger classes of grade 5 and 6. So just, as far as maybe some more fundamental skill build-up, we're seeing a lack of some basic fundamentals at the younger grades, so we want to build on that and have that be transitioning all the way through high school and onto their real life. Foxborough High School, continued with our senior Safe Choice Day. We expanded that as well, and Amy was an unbelievably huge part of that as always, and she does so much, and we talk a lot, but her, her contacts and the things that she does to bring people into the school is just really, really incredible. And it's a day where, for those of you that don't know it, it's our 12th grade students get a full day of workshops and experiences where on mental health, self-defense. This year we added Narcan training, sexual abuse in the law, learning how to first aid, stop the bleed, and as well as a really big, I believe you are a part of that, Nate, I'm not sure, but healthy relationships and targeting, red flags and unhealthy relationships, with the idea that they are heading off on their own in a lot of situations, whether it's workplace or college, and to be able to see those signs, it's scary as a parent, but it's also great for them to talk about it, and it's really led by the juniors. So we pick about 15 to 20 juniors who lead discussion groups, and we take a back seat as educators, and just we monitor and make sure if things get stale. It's hard to put them out there as teachers and talk about wait time and say you're gonna ask an awkward question, you're gonna have to let people answer before you just go on. But they did a really great job, the juniors, of leading that, and the peer conversations become really a different thing than it is when you're in health class talking about it with your adult teacher, really. So that was nice. We have our 7th Heinrich Hustle. I can't believe it's been 7 Heinrich Hustle coming up, but to honor Joe Heinricher, this is on May 19th. The proceeds of the event, so each kid pays $20 to be in the race, and they get a T-shirt. So unfortunately, the cost of T-shirts is going wild, but so the money we're raising isn't quite as much as it used to be, but the money that we raise is going to support our Special Olympics field day and buying basically all the uniforms and T-shirts for the participants of that race. We've also taken over the Joe Heinrich Memorial Scholarship as well and funding that, as well as some cool things that happen is kids will have a student-led project, and it's a good resource if you have an idea and you need some money that you can come and say, if this is something that will better the school or the community, and you need a few $100s or whatnot, we have a fund that we've established in Joe's name to support anything that's good for Foxborough, really, because we know Joe was, he's a really great friend of mine, and all of us in our department as a former wellness teacher and assistant principal and coach of so many sports. We wanted to be able to give back to the community in his name as much as possible. So that's been really cool. We just had our pickleball championship at the Payson Field, a field trip for phys ed, which was pretty cool. Where we went down and played on the Payson courts. And it was awesome. We have our class champions playing off of the ultimate championship, kind of similar to badminton. It was a little bit late for you, unfortunately. Nate was a great pickleball player, but probably would have won. But heading down to the Payson courts, we rented from the Foxborough Recreation Department. We got the court time, and an older senior group had to give back some of their time, and they were hanging around playing and looking and scouting out our players and trying to set up some matchups and talking strategy with some of the kids. But it was a great connection to the community because every time we talk about pickleball, we say it's the fastest growing sport in America. Somewhere right now, your nana or your papa is playing some pickleball right now during school. So it is a lifelong activity that we like to, and now we've shown them the courts they have in town, so it was a really cool thing. In addition, we'll be doing our CPR training in our health classes this week as well. So a lot of cool things happening. I'm really excited to kind of continue on with some of the recommendations and finish that out, but really, really excited about what's going on in our department.
Any questions? Thank you guys so much. It's very thorough.
I just wanted to, we're being recognized as school wellness champions in a couple of weeks at the Healthy Kids Summit, so that's exciting. We're going to continue to work on the policy, plan on that. I don't know who our policy subcommittee is now.
You'll know soon. It's next up.
And we're just going to keep chugging along on some relative great goals of wellness.
You guys never stop, honestly. It's impressive. Thank you.
My kids loved the mini golf lesson. Yeah. They talked about it quite a bit. So.
Anyone have any questions for the Wellness Committee? No, you guys did a great job with your
Thanks for everything.
presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the thoroughness. That was great.
By the way, Sophia was the only one that didn't come to the pickleball tournament.
When was it?
It was last week. It's okay. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, was she in school? I don't even know. Maybe she played hockey.
It was a class cheerleader.
I don't even know. Sorry. Everyone thinks because I'm in school committee, I have my finger on everything. I'm sorry. I don't. I do the best I can. I love her. She's a good kid. I just try to let her have her space. Anyway, okay. That was a perfect segue asking a question about policy and budget subcommittee. We have 2 new members and we have 2 subcommittees. We have the policy subcommittee, which the roles and responsibility of the subcommittee, it's a committee of 2. Therefore, it's not a quorum, but it's also, as we just read minutes, it's a posted, it's an official posted meeting. So, of the school committee for policy work, and same thing with budget. Budget has the big difference is budget has a pretty finite season that we meet. I mean, we're always available to meet if we need to, but we have a pretty finite season in the calendar year and the fiscal year where we do most of our meetings. And then once we vote on the budget, that work sort of falls away. So does anyone have any feelings? I just want to recognize, and I've been saying this, I feel like a broken record, but it bears repeating. The amount of work and hours that you have spent on policy work this year is just so amazing and impressive. All of these are volunteer hours. I just have to recognize that. It really has been amazing, and we're so grateful. So thank you so much.
Well, I guess I'll kick it off. Yes, we have done countless hours of work on policy. Unfortunately, we're not done. There's still more work to do, so I would love the opportunity to serve another year on the policy subcommittee and continue that work that we have to kind of keep going with the plan that we put in stone.
I think in the spirit of continuity, I think that would be great. I don't know if anybody else is interested in stepping up and
I mean, I'd like to join on the policy subcommittee for it.
Policy subcommittee? All right, awesome. So policy subcommittee, just to let you know, last year on our summer retreat, Nate and Brent Reuter came together. They were last year's policy subcommittee, and they made a commitment to do a full policy review. The MASC, Massachusetts Association for School Committees, said, well, that's like a year-long process. They really gave it their all to get it done in 6 months, but it looks like that work is going to continue on. So that would mean and necessitate you guys just continue on, coordinate and continue on meetings, which can be posted. So as long as that feels good, I think it's great. Okay, so I think we should, I can entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for Nate and Pat to be on the policy subcommittee.
Perfect.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? And that would be 500. Thank you very much. The second subcommittee is budget. Michelle and I were on budget subcommittee last year. I'm sorry, you and Rob were on last year. We were on together the year before, sorry. So I don't know if you want to talk about that. I just mentioned that it's like a seasonal committee, so.
It is. So it ramps up, basically when the budget ramps up, the budget we'd like to vote in at by the end of January. So it does pretty much end by then. So it's gets a little busy around Christmas time, but the holiday time and the New Year. But yeah, it's great. I love it.
Important work.
I would be happy to join Michelle in that. I have an undergrad in accounting, and I followed Michelle's footsteps at the Borough as the PTO treasurer, so we can now work together on that.
Fantastic. Well, I'll entertain a motion on that.
I make a motion to nominate Chelsea and Michelle for the budget subcommittee.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, 500. Thank you very much on that. The next thing we're going to talk about is the warrant signing procedures. Oh, sorry. Recreation Department. Okay, I just want a recreation appointment. I apologize, I missed it. For the Recreation Department, if anyone's watched our meetings, they know that I spent 3 years on the Recreation Department. Last year, Rob Canfield had taken over in the role as Recreation Department liaison. And during that time, I got to look through a different lens. And my lens was that I was no longer bound by being a voting board member of Recreation. So I did not have any ethical ties, and I was able to volunteer and donate my time and donate, it was just a really amazing thing. And one thing that I did that was so fun, I had wanted to send through my professional job, I had wanted to send a ice cream truck from the company that I work for to the campers at the booth camp. And I had always been kind of tied with that ethical, it was a donation and I was a voting member on the board. So it was just really frowned upon and said no. So this year I get to do that. And it was just as fun as it sounds to see 200 campers come up and get their ice creams. And it was just such an amazing day. I guess, sorry for going on and on. My point is, I'm happy to give that liaison role to somebody else if they want and continue to get to do the work that I do, even though I did love my time on recreation so much. But I get to still work with them and help. So with that being said, if anyone else would like to step up and be on recreation.
I mean, I don't mind stepping up. I think I'd love to do it. I'd love to be the representative. I'd love to come back to the school committee, provide updates from what we hear at the recreation department. They're essential to our students. We're all here for our students, so I think it's important to have someone with a strong voice who will be a good back and forth and communicate thoroughly between both boards.
Thank you.
I think it's important for recreation for that continuity with the, because I think they play such a huge role within the community and fostering that sense for everybody. So I think that's an important part of it.
Thank you. I'm going to write it in the role that you have to love it as much as I did. I'm just kidding.
I make a motion to nominate Nate to be the Recreation Department appointment.
Second.
And any further questions, comment, discussion? All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to talk about the warrant signing procedures.
On the next, it's the preliminary.
Oh,
We have the
I'm getting
the
so-
retreat, yes.
I'm getting all.
You're ahead of yourself.
I'm getting all ahead of myself. Oh, look, I've got the.
It's all
agenda in
exciting.
this. I can't call things out of order, but no, it's okay. One of the things we need to do is discuss, this is just a preliminary discussion, but every year over the summer, the school committee has a retreat where it's not, we stay in the town of Foxborough. We retreat to the Mill Street Recreation Complex. That's where it's been traditionally. We have a meeting where we kind of we do the superintendent evaluation. We kind of this is the time where we kind of hit and reflect on our goals for the year, what we want to work on. We do discuss calendars, we discuss, meeting dates. We just kind of get into a little bit of granular work. And last year, we had Massachusetts Association of School Committees come, and they did a workshop, and it was so valuable for the school committee, I felt, and maybe you guys can speak to it, but they came and they helped us with some of that work, that goal-setting work. They set the stage for the just unbelievable policy work that Brent and Nate did over the year. It really was hugely helpful, so I'd like to recommend that we revisit that, bringing that element back to that retreat, especially with having Chelsea and Pat new on the board, just to kind of that team building, starting out right with a really positive representative. So I don't know if anyone has any feelings or if you guys have anything to add to that. But if we did have any dates, it is traditionally in like that mid-July time. We need to make sure we do it by the end of July, correct?
Just because when you end up having the meeting in August, you have the meetings in June, so.
Yep, it's just
You already have
good.
other meetings.
So we traditionally have done it, so I don't know if again, this preliminary discussion, it's not meant to put anyone on the spot, but if we have some days and times we can bring together, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have it on the calendar if we can. If we can't, we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting. But if you have something that works.
I think with vacation schedules with the five of you and just what the summer brings, the sooner that you can figure out that particular date. Like I know that on July 23rd, we have our strategic planning meeting. So that date, as an example, is out. We have the Superintendent's Institute the second week of July. That's at Mashpee High School.
And will that be all week?
No, it runs 4 days out of the week.
So Monday through Thursday or Tuesday?
It's the July 15th.
Okay, so 15th through 18th.
Yeah, the week of the 7th is actually
Okay.
best for me that month, but.
All right. That week of the 7th, I'm
can't
just
do that.
mentioning this because it like rides into July 4th, so a lot of people take that week off because they get the extra. You're off that week?
Yeah, I've got plans that
Vacation,
way.
yeah, it's tricky. Okay, so now we're into the week did you say, oh, no, you just said the 23rd.
The Wednesday, the 23rd is the
Okay.
strategic planning group, so Monday, the 21st or 22nd, or?
Honestly, I have no problem with kicking off on a Monday. I don't know how anyone else feels. Typically, we do have it, it usually runs around 5 to like 7:38.
Yep, I can, look, I may
You
wanna-
don't have to, again, I'm not trying to put any pressure. Is that a date we can roundtable, maybe everyone can look at?
Yep.
Okay, any other dates that you want to throw out, just as preliminary?
So what is the date?
July 21st.
Okay.
Can we look at the following week as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything. I don't have anything yet that's popped up on the week of the 28th.
The week of the 20th, we said the 21st?
Yeah.
Okay. I could also do the 22nd on that day. on that
Okay.
week. But then I'm gone the back half of the week and the front half of the next week.
Okay.
So, but
So
I
you
can I can do the tail end of
So you-
July, so. the
Okay, so
last-
you could do,
Probably the 30, or the 30th or the 31st.
okay, so right now,
Or the 29th.
okay.
So,
So we have July 21st, July 22nd, July 29th, July 30th, and July 31st on the table. And you know what, I don't want to push any harder than that. I feel like that gives us a good jumping off point. You know, maybe at a certain point, you might get a poll or something like that that we can circulate, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. But it looks like it's going to be, you know, mid to late July.
Yeah. The other thing, just to keep in consideration, is if you're wanting MASC and the field rep to come out,
Yes.
they do a lot of work with school committees over the summer, so you'd want to get that date sooner than later to be able to lock them in.
Yes, yeah. Actually, today, we sat down with Sean Costello at lunch, our field rep for MASC. So, you know, it was really nice to connect with him, and he sounded really, really energetic about connecting with and meeting Chelsea and Pat. So I think it'd be great.
Just a suggestion, maybe we can reach out to MASC to find out their availability for those 5 dates, just to see maybe
That's
which
good.
days they are more flexible.
See if we can rule, yeah, maybe it'll rule some dates out.
Not that we're set in stone for those days, but at least that'll
Sure.
help us when we have to decide if we have.
Well, we can kind of work it backwards, too. If they're not available and it's not even an option, then we can take it off the table. All right, so how does everyone feel about leaving it like that for the discussion, for that?
sounds good.
Good to me.
As far as meeting dates, Tuesdays for the last 4 years have actually, when I first came on 4 years ago, the meetings were, I believe they were Mondays.
Mondays.
And then it changed to Tuesdays, and it has been 3 years of really difficult decisions. So I would like to talk about switching meetings to Wednesdays. There's some logistic issues, but I'm hoping that we can at least have the discussion.
Would it be the same time?
Yes, we can have it at the same time. Actually, that's the other thing that I wanted to at least broach. If everyone, again, it's about the whole committee, but if the committee is available, if there is a way for us to move the meeting up to make it a little earlier than 6:30. And again, nobody has to answer anything now. This is a preliminary discussion. But I think the earlier the better. Obviously, we have student representatives, we have administration, they all start their days very early. We have presenters come, there's a lot going on. So if the room is available and if we can't, you know, this, again, it's just, I'm throwing these ideas out, and we will set a calendar. And when we set our calendar, we set it for a whole year. So sometimes there's going to be conflicts with the room, or we have to change meetings for a lot of logistical reasons. So we can certainly have these discussions, but I'm just putting this out there. So I know it's a lot. I don't want to put pressure on anyone.
Yeah. So is there a reason we're not looking at Monday?
Monday's a tough day because, number one, there's a lot of holidays on Monday, but number two, it's also there's a lot of materials that need to come from the superintendent's office, also presenting with school, and we have a lot of presenters come. It was just a challenging day, and I also think there was availability issues in this room on Monday. So it was kind of like a little I did take a look. Fridays are hard for obvious reasons, weekend plans, things like that. Thursdays, the room's not available. So it was the Wednesday.
Wednesday is tricky I travel a lot for work, so I can't then plan meetings. I can't travel. I would miss a lot of meetings because it's in the middle of the week. So like if it's on the front half of the week, back half of the week, I can then travel alternating, but Wednesday is.
Do you have, and I'm totally respectful of the fact that you go away a lot. I totally get it. But do you have the capability to Zoom into the meetings? Because the Attorney General did vote it.
It depends on the timing.
And we are able to have you remote, depending on the time.
Depending on the time.
So again, no pressure one way or the other. But if you could join us, again, we will sit and we will go through the calendar. But it's just sort of a preliminary conversation. But yeah, I did look into Mondays because there were Mondays. They used to be when I first started.
Okay. I think we have time on that, right? To be respectful of even time tonight.
Yes.
To decide on that.
Yes, for sure. But I just wanted to have a thorough, get everything out there. So
When they were Mondays, what did they do on the Monday holidays?
I don't remember. It was 4 years ago.
There's someone that's meeting.
They were rescheduled. Oh, hold on. Joe has an answer for that.
I remember what we would do. We would meet the first and third Monday of every month, and then usually we try to do it the same week as the selectmen, because if the school committee has to vote on something one day, and if it requires school committee and selectmen approval at the same time, school committee can vote on it Monday and then selectmen Tuesday. Foxborough tried to align for that for many years when it was on Monday. It would be at Foxborough High School until COVID.
Thank you, Joe. So for the people watching at home, Joe just clarified that we've had scheduling conflicts for a long time. So it's never been perfect, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, just to add in, it used to be at the high school until COVID, then we had to do it here because of the whole COVID restrictions. Then we decided to keep it here because the technology at Foxborough High School is outdated to continue to have it on Zoom.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Anyone have any additional comments or questions or anything on this? Do you feel like we've covered it? At least we've had a preliminary discussions out there.
Yes. Wednesdays would work for me.
I just want to clarify though, and Jamie may know, as far as the Monday availability, are we looking to see about Mondays?
It doesn't look like, I can reach out to Katie. When I reached out to Katie for it last year, there are meetings on Mondays. I can reach out to her, see what it looks like for 2024. I mean 25, 26.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, again, don't want to.
So I guess the takeaway would be that I would call Katie, find out the availability.
Okay.
For Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to figure out availability and come back and have this conversation at the next meeting. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sorry, the only thing is we should book our meetings as soon as possible. Again,
Yes.
We do not want to lose it because
Yes.
they take it all, there's so many people using this room, so if we could do that as soon as possible.
Yes, we will
So
definitely.
maybe for the next school committee meeting, I can have both and see where the dates
Sure.
fall.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll kind of circle back based on availability, and then we'll send out, Jamie will send out an email and kind of just come back with the feedback. So, and you can let her know, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Okay. Are we finally on to warrant signing? Okay, so I will give you the Reader's Digest. All the invoices entered for payment become batches. These batches are usually completed by Friday of every week. One member of the school committee reviews each payment and signs the batches and warrant sign-off sheet between Friday and Tuesday morning, either in the office or at the school committee meeting. The original invoices and a copy of the batches are submitted to the town hall to be included in the town's warrants, which is signed by the town manager and the finance director. If you look at the last part of information on the packet, we had voted a long time ago. It used to be a quorum of the school committee. I'm just explaining this because we have 2 new members. It used to be a quorum of the school committee every week that had to go. So 3 of us had to go to the finance office every week and make sure we physically signed the warrants. So, or each batch of warrants. Through COVID, the takeaway was that each committee could actually vote to have a warrant signer. I personally was a warrant signer for the first 3 years. Michelle's done it for the last year. It's a really valuable way for the budget to come alive, for you to see each and every fee that is paid out of the central office. So I always found it very valuable. I don't know if you want to speak to it, Michelle. But it was, for me, it was a valuable experience.
No, I also found it valuable, being a number and budgets person. It was a little bit more interesting than I thought it would be to do. I do enjoy doing it.
Yes. This sheet right here, as you can see, any expenses over $25,000 are itemized out, tells you who the payee is. It gives us a jumping off point if we need to have a conversation or if anyone has a question. This is all public record. Anyone can see the warrants at any point in time. But this is just a way for it to still be part of the conversation and for all the committee to set our eyes on expenses. So with that being said.
So just to let you know, those are summary sheets of the actual batches. I actually do review the individual batches, sign the individual batches, as well as the summary.
Yes. Is anyone feeling, if you enjoy it, if you want to continue, there's no.
I can continue it. If anyone else has interest in it, that's fine too. I don't want to take that away from anyone.
Yes, I have no problem. And now, keep in mind, too, if anything happens to Michelle, or if she can't perform her duties, any one of us can sub in for her.
And there are times, like, if I do go away, I do ask somebody to make arrangements for me. But I have to be honest, the people at central office have been extremely flexible about this. They've been great. They really do a lot of work, and they've been great to work with this whole year.
Fantastic.
I'd like to make a motion to assign Michelle Thaxton as the weekly warrant signer.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor? That would be 500. Thanks again, Michelle. That's really nice. So we're going to move on to acceptance of scholarship donation, the Gerald Roy Scholarship Fund.
So this is a scholarship that we give annually. Jerry was our department head for art when I first started here many years ago, just a wonderful individual, and it was a scholarship that was put in place many years ago. So we just need the school committee to accept the donation to continue the scholarship.
I make a motion to accept the scholarship donations for the Gerald Roy Scholarship Fund.
Second.
In the amount of
$2,500.
$39.50.
Oops, sorry.
2,500.
2,500?
It's 2,500.
Oh, do we need to go to each, we need to go through each one? There's multiple checks.
There's multiple pages.
Oh, okay.
1,300 more.
$39.50.
$39.50.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? No? All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay. Now, employee FEA contract documentation. Dr. Berdos.
Okay, so this is an agreement between the school committee, our Foxborough Education Association, and it has been drafted by legal counsel. And what this is it's a document that arranges, for many years, we've had an educational assistant that's actually had a benefit but performing tasks that's in our teacher's contract. And because it's in the teacher's contract and not in the educational assistant's contract, we need to have the school committee to vote so it's pensionable for this particular individual, because it's technically just in the teacher's contract. And so with that said, it is an agreement that's being entered into where the position is very clear that the compensation is received for the work, just so it should be treated as pensionable for that particular individual. When we have a collective bargaining agreement with all of our clubs and activities and things. There have been times in the past where we've even had one where we have like discretionary clubs. But for it to count over the course of the school year for the educator or educational assistant in this case, it needs to be within that CBA. So I would be asking for a motion to approve the agreement between the committee and the FEA and Wendy Fay in this particular case.
Chair,
I make a motion to approve the agreement between the committee, the FEA, and Wendy Fay.
Second.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? No? All in favor? 500.
Okay, great.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much. Okay, now we're going to the community update portion. If anyone if either you or Pat, anything in the community or you're involved in anything, this is the opportunity to give the community an update, just to catch you up and let you know.
Yep.
So, Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Berto's already mentioned it, but the Lion King is this weekend. And then the Borough actually celebrates Staff Week, a different week than the other. We do it for the full staff. So ours will be in a couple of weeks at the Borough.
Nice. Okay, neat.
Clean Up Foxborough Day is this Saturday, May 10th, so sign up if you're interested. We got to keep this town clean.
Thank you. Michelle?
No updates at this time?
Taylor Art Show's Thursday night. so-
Fantastic. May-Sember, one more for the pile, right? Dr. Burdos?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm good.
Deborah? Stevie? Wow. All right. Well, I will entertain a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.